Hello, my friends, and welcome in to Studio de Jefre, where today on my Twitter account at JC1053, I asked, what are your Cowboy questions today? They're practicing right this second, so we'll have practice takeaways later on. But for now, I just wanted to know, what do the Cowboy folks want to know? And a bunch of you came through and asked. So I will start here at YathDLC. All righty. Do you think Nahshon Wright has outplayed Anthony Brown and Kelvin Joseph? Also, why is Kennedy not the starting slot cornerback? He's been fantastic. That really blows my mind. All right, two different things there, right? Number one, why is Maurice Kennedy not starting as your slot cornerback? My answer to that is I have no idea. I think he should be. I think if you're going to claim that football is a meritocracy, then whoever performs the best should be playing. Now, maybe there's exceptions to that if you're talking about somebody had a better preseason camp than Tyron Smith or Zach Martin, when you're just like, whatever, dude, I know what my guy has. But that is where the Cowboys are in an interesting spot at corner. Because to me, Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis, while I like them both, and they're sweet men, and I like their approach to football, I like the way they play the game, neither one has proven to be an average NFL quarterback, much less better than that, right? So in that scenario, I got no problem if you let somebody else go sink or swim, and especially in the case of Kennedy. I'll talk about Joseph and Wright a little bit more in a second, but with Maurice Kennedy, who's spent his whole career so far in Baltimore and then was an opt-out last year with the COVID for the Cowboys, so he didn't play last year. He's had an outstanding camp. He leads the team in interceptions in camp, even in the preseason games. As soon as he came in the game in the second half against Houston, they tried to throw a slant, bats it down. He just gets his hands on the football all day, day. So every once in a while, because I am human, and I try not to be biased about anything with the Cowboys, and I try to just tell the truth about what I'm seeing from each of the players, but I do check Pro Football Focus just to see if their numbers line up with what I'm thinking. And I know a lot of you might know that I'm on record of I can grade the Cowboys better than they can. I just know that because I'm one of the humans that still has access to the All-22, and I know the team, and I know, generally speaking, what they're trying to do. But I want to show you, according to Pro Football Focus, their top 5 Cowboys defensive players in preseason so far. The reason I show you this is because Maurice Kennedy's in their top 5. So the top 5 is Keanu Neal. They have graded over 95, so basically the perfect player. That's pretty good. Then Micah Parsons at a 91, Randy Gregory at a 90, Maurice Kennedy at an 81, and Jabril Cox at 80. So those are their top 5 defensive players, according to Pro Football Focus. Obviously, some have played more snaps than others. But for Kennedy, it is a continuation of, in Baltimore, they've always had a lot of really good players. He was never really a full-time starter. But on this team, he's one of their 3 best corners. Maurice Kennedy is one of their 3 best corners until proven otherwise. But that's the way he's played in the preseason. That's the way he played at camp. And Maurice Kennedy should be in the starting lineup. I do think it gets a little bit murkier when you talk about Nahshon Wright and or Kelvin Joseph. Because Anthony Brown, first of all, in camp and preseason, I would say Anthony Brown has been more consistent than Jordan Lewis. And he is not threatened in the same way that Jordan Lewis is at this point. Like right now, I think Pro Football Focus says that Anthony Brown's like a 39 in the preseason. So he's like their lowest graded defender. And he's being pushed by a guy who's one of their 5 best defenders, at least so far in the preseason. Kelvin Joseph and Nahshon Wright, neither one of them has gone and taken that job. If you had to say which guy has played better in the preseason games, I would probably lean a little bit to Nahshon Wright over Kelvin Joseph. And if you had to throw Anthony Brown in that mix, Brown might be second. He might be third. But to me, it's not clear. It's just all different players, right? Kelvin Joseph, I'm going to be more comfortable in man coverage than I am with Nahshon Wright. Nahshon Wright, if you're going to let him line up at the line of scrimmage and play a deep third, then I'm going to be more comfortable with him than Kelvin Joseph. Anthony Brown, he's going to be out there, and he's going to be okay. And I should be clear, okay at best is what Anthony Brown's career tells us that he is. So if you wanted to, as the Cowboys, say, look, we're going to run one of these rookies out there, and he's going to sink or swim because we know we've got Anthony Brown that we can plug in there if it doesn't go well. I'm down with that. But also, as a coaching staff, if you want to say, I'm going to go with the veteran until I've seen enough from either one of these young guys that I believe he's the better player and I believe he's earned this job, I'm fine with that too. Kennedy is the one that should be on the field. The rookies, when they show it, when they demand it with their play, put them in. But for now, Maurice Kennedy is one of your two best corners. He should not be on the sideline. He should be in. The Honest Cowboy said, who do you see cementing themselves as CB2? I honestly think that's Maurice Kennedy. He says Brown might start the year there, but it's hard for me to believe he's the better option as the season goes on. No, by the time we get halfway through this year, I think Kelvin Joseph will be the starting left corner. Trevon Diggs will be the starting right corner. And in the slot, we'll see. They like Jordan Lewis. I like Jordan Lewis. Like, I like him personally, and I like the way that he plays. But Maurice Kennedy is just more ball productive, more consistent. The results are worse for the offense when they throw at Kennedy. Shane on Twitter said, will my guy Israel Mukuamu make the 53-man roster? That is a great question. Cowboy nerds, if you care about the bottom of the depth chart, because here is why I say it's a great question. Corners that are going to make the team. Anthony Brown, Trevon Diggs, Jordan Lewis. Kelvin Joseph, Nahshon Wright, Maurice Kennedy. You could count C.J. Goodwin as a special teamer as opposed to a corner if you'd like, but for the moment, that's what they'll list him as, even though he is just a special teamer. So that's 7 corners. At safety, I believe you're going to keep DeMonte Casey and Donovan Wilson. You're going to keep Malik Hooker and Jaron Kearse. That's 11 DBs. How many can I keep? Can I keep 13? Can I keep Mukuamu and Reggie Robinson? Can I keep Darian Thompson? Like, that's where we're going to be seeing, one, are there any spots left after the 11 that I named? And if there are, how are you ranking the guys that you would want to keep and keep on the 53-man roster? I think between Israel Mukuamu, Reggie Robinson, Darian Thompson, who is a core special teamer for them as well, between those guys, they're competing for maybe one roster spot. And so that's where it's going to be tough. You'll go short at quarterback with only 2. Maybe you go short at wide receiver and only keep 5 and let Simi go. And maybe that is a roster spot that could be Mukuamu's. But that's the sort of hanky-panky that's going on to try to figure that out. At Mr. Funny Guy, what does your ideal starting nickel defense look like? Starting nickel, our 4-down linemen are... And keep in mind that they might run this as like a 3-down where they're showing 5 guys on the line. They do a lot of different ways. But my guys in the field would be Tank Lawrence, Randy Gregory. Gallimore, are you saying Gallimore's hurt, so I can't use him. So I would go Gregory and Lawrence as your edge guys. I would go Osa and Urban as my defensive tackles, Parsons and Neal as my linebackers, Donovan Wilson, DeMonte KZ, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, my 3 corners. I guess I would go Diggs, Kennedy, Kelvin Joseph. That would be my nickel. Yeah, that'll work. Next year, Jabril Cox will be in that group. How's our DB situation looking like heading to the season from RP3 Burner? I think they've played pretty well in the preseason. I'm going to be careful not to buy all the way into that, though. I think Trevon Diggs will be a solid starting corner. Kennedy, if they let him play, I think could be a solid starting corner. And it's the 3rd spot that I really worry about. Because whoever it is, it's either going to be a rookie or it's going to be Anthony Brown. And either way, that is going to be a dude that's going to see a lot of footballs headed his direction. So they've played well in the preseason. Dan Quinn and that defense have performed really, really well. I just have a hard time buying in until I've seen it in real life and real preseason games. Maddie says the starting week 1 defensive line. Well, right now, what they've been running out is Osa. Well, Tank. He hadn't been out there, but it'll be Tank. It'll be Gregory. It'll be Osa at the 3 technique. And at the 1 technique, it'll be Carlos Watkins and or Brent Urban. That'll be your starting defensive line. Texas Elvis, does the backup offensive line personnel concern you? Yes, the backup offensive line terrifies me. The only thing they can do if an offensive lineman gets hurt is Connor McGovern needs to go in, and he really struggled in the last preseason game. But Connor McGovern needs to be the guy that goes in no matter what position gets hurt. If it's a tackle, you move Zach Martin to tackle, you bring McGovern in to play guard. If it's a guard, you bring McGovern in. If it's a center, you move Connor Williams to center, you bring McGovern in. I only believe in 6 guys on this offensive line. That's it. I believe in 6 dudes. Who's the starting linebacker duo from Frankie J? It's Parsons and Neal. That's your linebackers. Leighton Vander Esch is your 3rd linebacker. If you were going off how they've played so far in camp and preseason, Jabril Cox would be your 4th linebacker, but I think that'll be Jalen will still play some snaps. But as the season goes along, we'll start seeing Jabril Cox. We'll start seeing it. Okay, leave in the comments what you want to hear about tomorrow. We'll have practice reports. We'll have all that good stuff. G-Bag Nation, 2 to 7 today on 105.3 The Fan. If you're outside the DFW, you can use the Odyssey app, AUDACY, and stream us there, 105.3 The Fan, and we'll have a great time. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everybody. I love you. Bye.